Thank you for clicking on the help video. So let's see if I can guide you on how to do a problem similar to the one that you have on your homework. So the scenario states on both this and your homework that an investment of 1,400 is made in an account with continuous compounding, and the investment is going to triple in value in 5 years. Part A, the first part of our objective here, is to find the value of K and to estimate that answer to 3 decimal places. Well, the formula to found K here will be the general formula. Let me zoom in. Is that K is equal to the natural log of A of t over A of 0 divided by t. But since this is going to triple in 3 years, that means that the amount that we're starting off at, which is 1,400, in 3 years is going to be 3 times that amount. So multiplying that value by 3, that's going to give us a value of 4,200. So that means when I divide these two ratios, A of t divided by A of 0, that number is going to simplify to 3, which again is given right there. So we didn't have to do this math. Just by knowing that it's going to triple, this ratio of A of t over the initial amount is going to equal to 3. So that means that this value of K will equal to the natural log of 3 divided by the time it takes us again to triple, which is 15 years. So now let's plug this into decimals and get our answer. So here in decimals, I'm going to type in the natural log of 3 because we want to triple it, and it takes 15 years to do that. So I need to make sure I close the parentheses before I put the 15. I don't want the 15 inside the parentheses here, so this would be incorrect. I don't want the natural log of 3 divided by 15. I want the natural log of 3 and then that answer divided by 15. So here is our answer. Now, because we need to round, decimal has a nice feature here that if I type in the command round, type in my decimal value, which I can just copy here. And then put a comma after that value and type in the number 3, it estimates that answer to 3 decimal places. Now I could also do all of this in one entry line. So up here, if I just simply type in that same command down round, put a parentheses, and then after my expression type in the comma and the desired decimal places I want to round to, it does it also in one step as well. So again, your two options that you have here. But regardless, our K value is 0.073. So there's our answer for part A. Okay, now with that part plugged in, now that we have the value of K, we can now answer part B by writing the exponential decay model of this. So since we're talking about an investment amount, okay, I'm going to put A of t will be the $1,400 we're starting off with, e to the 0.073 multiplied with t. So that will be your answer for part B. Now, with using that answer from part B, we can now answer part C. We're going to now calculate the investment of calculate the value of this investment, I'm sorry about that, for 25 years. So we're going to get the amounts that we have and replace the t value with 25. So we're going to start with these 14,000 e, raise it to this power of 0.073, and we're replacing the t value with 25. So plugging this number into decimals, we get the following. Now normally we would estimate this to and round this to 2 decimal places. Sorry about that, I'm getting all these extra things, okay? And so normally we would round this to 2 decimal places, but for this homework assignment, we're now going to round it again to 0 decimal places. So 86, 83, and 91 is going to round just to 86, 84. Now you can also do this rounding instead of typing in the answer, the decimal value there, you can just type in this expression there. Let me just copy it and paste it here. And then put in a comma, 0, or no comma at all, and it rounds it to the nearest whole number. So 2 different ways. And remember, you can also copy and paste this. If I copy and then just paste it here, B, oh, B, there we go. Oh, it didn't copy it. I can also do it that way. There you go. So there's your answer. We're also going to use the answer from part B to answer part D. We're going to find out the time it takes for the investment to reach 14,476. So we're going to get this equation, this model, from part B and set it equal to this value that we want to reach. And the answer to this, I'll go through the steps, but the answer to this is ultimately going to be the natural log of the 14,479 divided by the 1,400 that we began with, and all of that gets divided by the K, the growth rate of 0.073. So let me show you how we end up with that value. So we start off by first dividing both sides by the initial value of 1,400. So e to the 0.073t equals again to this fraction. And you see that I gave myself a lot of space there because what I'm going to do here in order to get rid of the e is that I'm going to take the natural log of the left side and of course of the right side. You see, that's where this comes into play. So that's going to leave us with the exponent of 0.073t, and it equals to the natural log of 14,479 divided by 1,400, 4 double zeros. So you see, this is that. The only thing left to do is how to get that number. Well, that number comes from right there. So we're going to divide both sides by 0.73, 0.73, and we get our solution. So that eliminates that, and t equals to this, as you see there. The only thing left to do now is to plug it into decimals and see how many years that actually is. And there is our answer. So you see, you typed it there. Now I do want to specify again that you'll be very careful that when you take the natural log, the only thing in the parentheses again is be the ratio of that value. Do not put your division inside there, so you end up with typing in 0.073 right there. Okay, that's going to end up giving you the wrong answer. I need to close the parentheses and then all of that divided by that value of k, which in this example again is that. And of course, if you need help rounding, you can just have Desmos help you round. So you just copy that, paste it. By default, it rounds it to 0 decimal places, which in this situation we want. So we end up with 32. So our answer is 32. And there we have all the answers to every single part. I forgot to box that in. So our answer for A, B, C, and D. I hope this video was helpful. But if you do have any questions, again, send me a message on through Parent Square, or maybe even through my Open Math message instructor.